hydration is good. Okay. So good morning, welcome everybody. And today what we're going to be doing is a heart-focused Hatha class. So we will need some props today. You are going to need some form of a strap. So if you don't have a yoga strap, if you have a house coat belt is perfect. A regular belt can work as well, but it's a little bit more stiff. So if you have something a bit more loose and more like a yoga strap, then give yourself a moment to go and grab that. If you have blocks, you can use them if you like, not necessary or required today. And also optional, but I strongly recommend some form of, whether if you have a bolster, if you don't have a bolster, then please grab yourself a blanket or a towel, and you're just gonna roll that up so that you've got this nice long bolster sort of shape. A little bit more optional with that one, but I strongly recommend. But we will definitely need a strap today. If you do have discomfort in your knees, and if you feel like you need to prop your knees up when kneeling, then maybe just grab yourself a little hand towel or something just to bring a little more cushion for the knees. So I will give you a moment to go and grab all of that. Some other people might just still be checking in, logging in. Welcome everybody. All right. So we are going to start our class lying down today, and here's a great opportunity. If you like, you can use that bolster or towel or blanket rolled up, and you're just going to bring that lengthways along your mat. And if you don't have this or don't want to, you can just lie flat down, but we're just going to start to encourage a little bit of gentle opening across the chest and the shoulders today. So you can bring yourself on down, plant your feet on the mat, and depending on the height of your towel roll or bolster, sometimes it feels like it's a little too archy for the lower back. So you might need to actually prop up your hips on another cushion or a block if you've got it. So just seeing how this feels as you settle into your mat to this moment. I encourage you to roll the palms up towards the ceiling, gently bringing those shoulder blades together behind the back. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and exhale out through the nose or the mouth. And one more time here, inhale softly, and exhale. And you can choose to keep your knees bent with the feet planted. If you want a little bit of hip opening, then you can come into Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing soles of the feet together, knees apart. You can also bring something to support the outer thighs if you need a little lift there. And just notice if you're kind of tensing up, sort of holding yourself up there in the back. Feel the support of your back on the mat or on your prop, whatever you're using, and allow yourself just to really sink heavy into this. Allow yourself to be supported here. And so just stay down there. We're going to take a few more nice deep breaths. Keep allowing the neck to relax and the shoulders. And then as you hear the sound of the Tingsha chimes, just allowing that to shake off any sort of energetic dust, if you will. welcoming yourself to this practice, to this moment, to your body's needs. And of course, as we go through this practice, checking in with yourself if you need to modify moment to moment at any point. So you can take 2 more nice full deep breaths on your back, whatever variation of supine pose you are starting in. Maybe even taking this moment to set an intention for your practice. Good. And then if you're still down there, we're going to slowly turn our palms down towards the floor. You can either roll over to one side, or you can gently bring the chin in towards the chest. Use your forearms and palms to press yourself up. And then if you've got a prop on your mat, you can go ahead and remove that. And we're going to make our way right into our kneeling tabletop. So take as much time as you need to bring yourself on up. Maybe a tiny bit of a wider stance with those knees today, but we are stacking shoulders over the wrists. And we're just going to start by warming up the wrists a little bit by circling the full body. Shifting to one side, shift the hips back to the other side and forward. Staying in this neutral spine as we circle. One more. You can spread the fingertips nice and wide, and then we'll reverse. Keep pressing down into the first knuckle of the hands. If this is really too much for your wrist, please keep the circles smaller. You can go up onto your fists, but I encourage you to explore this range of motion for your wrists if you can. One more. Good. And then we'll just come back through center and we'll just move through our classic cat-cow, inhaling to tip the tailbone, lift the chin. Exhale to round the spine, hollow and scoop the belly. Look back at the thighs. Inhale, shoulders are down and away from those ears as you arch. Exhale, maybe a little core hollowing and engagement as you round. 3 more rounds here. Inhale, tipping up. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Good, and then from here, curl those toes under, so the toes are curling towards your nose. Make sure the pinky toe is curled under. And sit back onto your heels if that's possible for you. If that's not possible, you can always come up to high kneeling. So just sitting back here, we're going to interlace through those palms, press forward as you exhale. Inhale to lift up, lift the chin just slightly, and then exhale, bring those hands back. 2 more, inhale to lift it up, exhale. 1 more, inhale, lift it up, hold it here. Not compressing in the back of the neck, keep the back of the neck long, the chin just is slightly lifted. If it's too intense for your feet, you can always go for flat feet at any point. On your next exhale, bring those hands to the base of the skull, and then opening up the chest, lift the chin more. Using the hands to support the head. Elbows are wide. One more breath. And release. Shift the weight forward, point those toes, tapping out the tops of the feet, or you can shake out the feet really floppy, whatever feels best. Okay, and then if you can be kneeling with pointed toes, then you can do that. You're going to need your strap or belt now. You can also do this seated and cross-legged. You can even do this standing if you like. But sometimes I feel like we don't really sit down kneeling too much. So if it's possible for you to be kneeling here, then go for that. So we're going to come into this shoulder opening. So you're going to need your strap nice and wide, hands nice and wide. And the key here is to keep the arms straight. So as you inhale, you're going to start to lift those arms all the way up. And if you get to a point that the hands lock and you feel like you can't go any further, you just need to widen your hands so that you're able to, with straight arms, bring that strap all the way down towards the tailbone. And then inhale to lift up. Now, especially as you come up, make sure you don't bend into one elbow here. Widen the hands if you need. Keep it nice and straight and bring it back forward. Inhale to lift it on up. Exhale back. Two straight arms. Notice if you get to a point that those arms feel like they want to bend, just widen your hands. Let's go for 3 more rounds. Maybe the straps get a little bit closer together, the hands get a little bit closer together. Let's do one more here. Good. Now from here, bring your hands a little bit closer together so that when you bring your hands back, they're getting to a point that they're not going to go all the way back. So that's my range of motion here. My hands are back behind my head. So we're just going to pause here, take a couple breaths like this. And then from here, I call it a little tick-tock. So you're going to go over to one side and then over to the other side. I'm not moving my torso at all. I'm just moving those arms. Over to one and over to the other. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the jaw. Let's go for one more each direction. Good. And then slowly release. Whew. So you might feel your arms and shoulders warming up. Maybe you just roll those back a little bit and forward. Nice. Okay. And then we're going to just do one more thing kneeling here. So we're going to work to interlace our hands behind the back. And if you've worked with me before, you've probably heard me say, let's bring the heel of the hands together. So you're going to bring your hands behind the back, bring the heel of the hands together. So that might mean you need to bend your elbows in order to get that full clasp. So just holding there, kneeling. I'm just going to close these because I feel like, I don't know if it's too bright for you guys. Everyone can see you. Yeah. So heel of the hands together, roll those shoulders down and back. And then think of reaching those knuckles down towards the feet. Drop the chin slightly so the back of the neck is long. And then the next time you're ready to inhale, sweep those arms all the way up and just go for nice straight arms, bringing the hands as wide as the torso. Bring the fingers and thumb together. Hands as wide as the torso, and just really working nice long straight arms here. And then the next time you're ready to exhale, float those fingertips down towards the ground. Good. So we're going to bring ourselves down to our backs again, and you are going to need hopefully a little bit more space as you lie down. So a good way to check that for yourself, if you're able to do, you know, like the snow angel thing when you get down here. So just see for yourself if you've got some space to bring your hands all the way up overhead and all the way down to the sides. That's going to be most ideal. So if you need to slightly adjust your mat, go for it. It's not the end of the world if you're a bit tight for space, but as much space as possible. So we're going to start by rolling over to one side. I'm rolling over onto my left shoulder, and I'm going to bring my palms together. So I'm stacking my hands. Now, sometimes it doesn't feel so great with the head dropping down, so you might choose to get a little cushion or a block or something underneath your head. And I'm just going to stack these palms here. And then from here, we're just going to start pulling forward and back. So I'm starting by reaching my top hand beyond the bottom hand, and then I'm pulling that back. So I'm pulling my fingertips towards, maybe towards the elbow. Shift the weight as you reach forward and pull that back. 3 more here. Reach it forward and back. Reach forward and back. This time we'll reach forward to pause, and then as you inhale, reach that top arm all the way up to the ceiling, and then as you exhale, we're going to open up to a letter T shape. Inhale to lift that arm back up. Exhale to close the palms together. Reach that top hand forward, and then inhale, lift it on up. Exhale, opening up to the back. Let's pause here for an extra breath. Then on your next inhale, lift that arm back up and exhale to close. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift it up and exhale to close. Inhale, reach, start to lift, and exhale, open. Inhale, lift it up, and exhale, close. Good. And then we're just going to go for one nice big circle in each direction. So I'm going to start again by reaching that top hand beyond the bottom hand, and then keep your hand on the floor. Start to trace the arm overhead. Keep the fingertips on the floor. And then I'm moving into that letter T shape. I still am keeping my fingertips on the floor. Take your time. Sweep it all the way open. You move through that letter T shape. And then bring the hand down towards the hip. And then, of course, when you get to the hip, you need to lift the arm up to sweep over the hip and the leg. Find the floor again. And palms together. Good. And then let's reverse that. Reach it forward. And then sweep the hand down towards the knee. Sweep over the knee and the hip. And then find the floor as soon as you can. Fingertips down to the floor. Moving through that letter T shape. Sweep that arm all the way up overhead. And then closing the palms. Nice. I'm just going to flip my head the other direction so I don't have my back to you. But you guys can turn the other way, or if it's better for you to flip around too, then do that. Second side. Lying down onto that right shoulder. Prop up your head if you need to. And then palms together. And then we'll just start with that reach, that push and pull. Pull it on back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back. 1 more. And then reach to pause. Now as you inhale, keep floating that arm all the way up. Exhale to open up to your T. Up to the side. Let's pause here for an extra breath. Try to bring that left shoulder blade down towards the floor, and then we'll inhale to float that arm back up. Exhale to close the palms. Inhale to slide forward and then reach it up. Exhale to open. Inhale to lift back up. Exhale to close. 2 more. Matching movement with breath here, but nice and slow and easy. And you can always take more time and pause in that letter T if you want to rest a little bit longer. Last one. Good, and then we're moving into that circle. Inhale to reach that hand past the bottom hand. Keep your fingertips on the ground. Start to trace the arm overhead, make that big circle. Keep your hand on the floor. Whoop, hopefully you don't have props in the way. Sweep it down as best you can. Take as much space as you can. Move through that letter T shape. When you get to the hip, sweep over the hip. And then close the palms. And then one time in the reverse direction. Top hand reaches past the bottom hand. Slide down to the knee. Sweeping over the knee and the hip. Find the floor as soon as you can. Reach that left shoulder blade towards the ground as you move through that letter T. Get that nice range of motion as you go all the way overhead. And then close the palms. Nice. And then we're going to take that top hand, press down to the floor, and walk yourself up to seated. Good. You can move your cushion aside if you've got that. And then let's just get a little bit of circling for the rest of the spine. So coming into a little cross-legged Sukhasana, or you can do a little mini straddle if that's better for you. So let's go from left to right. Inhale to come forward, and exhale to circle it back. Inhale forward, exhale back. So now we're getting a little bit more into the hip area. But as you come forward, think of really leading with the heart space, really opening up the heart, bring the heart forward. And then as you come back, heart is nice and soft and calm. Inhale forward, let's go 3 more. Good, and then we'll reverse. Lead with the heart, inhale forward from the right to the left, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And one more. Great. Okay, so we're going to bring ourselves back to our tabletop, and a couple options to come into this nice deep heart melting down towards the ground. So option 1 is coming into puppy dog. No need for any props here, but we're coming into this puppy dog with more so of a softening. So if you can really get yourself down, then you might bring your chin down towards the floor. Hips are high. If it feels like the forehead is not enough of a drop for you. So that's one option. Another option, if you've got your couch nearby, or if you have a chair, back of the chair that you want to hold on to, you can bring your hands to that. Nice soft knees, and then melting the chest down towards the ground. So do whichever version you feel you want to explore right now. The arms are nice and long. We'll hold for 2 more breaths, whichever variation you're in. And then slowly coming out of that. Good. All right, so let's bring ourselves into our full downward facing dog, with the focus, of course, with there being more length, right? We're not trying to arch in down dog. We're focusing on being nice and long. So plant those hands down, shoulder distance. And might be the first down dog in a while, so might feel good to pedal out the feet. Really lengthen out through your spine. Lift the hips up and back. The ears are between the biceps. Press down into the first knuckle of your hands. You can keep a bend in your knees if your hamstrings are tight. And sometimes, if you feel like you're sliding at all, then puppy dog is a good option. I've seen people before also hold the sides of their mat, which is not the ideal positioning that we want to be in. But if you're doing this little face plant, then it might be maybe an option for you. 2 more breaths in your downward facing dog. You can rest whenever you need. And then we'll slowly float those knees down towards the ground. Let's step the right foot forward in between the hands. Point those back left toes if that's okay for you. Prop up your left knee if you need a little cushion. And then we'll start with the hands down low. You're tucking that right knee in towards that kind of outer right side of the chest. Hands are down. And then just to balance things out, we'll get a little bit of length in the back of the leg. So inchworm that right foot forward, coming into a little half split. We'll just keep that left hip stacked over the left knee, drawing those right toes up towards the ceiling. Nice. All right, let's release that. Nothing fancy. We'll just change our legs. Step that left foot forward, pointing through those back right toes. And see how it feels on this side. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders, unclench your jaw. And then moving into that half split, start to inchworm those left toes forward. Shift the weight back so that you stack right hip over the right knee, flex through that left foot, coming into that half split. Nice. Okay, so from here we're going to bring ourselves back to sit back onto the heels. If this is not suitable for you, also I'll show you a variation in a moment. But for those of you that are able to sit down onto the heels, we're going to reach those arms back. The fingertips are facing forward. The hands are shoulder distance. Roll those shoulders down and back. Keep the chin tucked. This might be as far as you go. So just take a couple breaths here. I'll show a variation in a moment. Otherwise, if you can't sit back like that, if you need to be all the way up, then you're going to not focus on arching your back, but bring your hands to your hips and just hinge back a little bit and just roll those shoulders back. I'm not doing anything in my low back here. I'm just hinging a little bit and just drop those shoulders a bit together. Okay. Otherwise, if hands are down onto the ground, we're going to start to lift the hips up and away from the heels. If you're in the high kneeling variation, you can just stay right where you are, please. Otherwise, if you're in this version, option to drop head back. One more breath, wherever you are. If the hips are lifted, drop them down. Slowly press yourself up, bring your head up last. And then in your high kneeling or low kneeling, just rest the backs of the palms on the thighs or hands down to the sides. Take 2 breaths. Great. So we're going to return back to Anjaneyasana. This next variation is a great one to come into with hands on blocks if you have them. So stepping that right foot forward again in between the hands. And if you've got some blocks or something to prop yourself up on, bring them up high so that you can lift yourself up here. Roll those shoulders down and back, lift that chest up. Option to stay here, or maybe you bring your hands up to the front thigh. Two more breaths here. Keep relaxing those shoulders. And then we'll bring those hands down, curl the back toes, step that left foot forward so it's on a 45-degree angle, and then bending into that front right knee, get light on the fingertips and bring yourself up to Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale to reach those straight arms all the way up. Hands are as wide as the torso. Strong straight arms, right hip back, left hip forward. Two more breaths here, focusing on lengthening the spine as you lift that heart skyward. And then on your next exhale, drop that left arm down the back of the left thigh or hip, wherever you are. And then as you inhale, just lift the heart up even more. Not thinking about the lower back, but heart space, lifting up and back just a little bit. On your next exhale, bring both hands through heart center. Inhale to lengthen out into that front right leg. Keep squaring off your hips, right hip back, left hip forward. Press that pinky toe edge of that back left foot down into the mat. And then on your next exhale, reach the crown of the head forward, press the heart into the thumbs. Stay nice and square and level across the pelvis, not tilting here. So some of you might be parallel to the ground, some of you might just go an inch or two, just checking in with what your range of motion is today. One more breath. And then on your next exhale, bending into that front right knee, bring your hands down, float your left knee down, scoot that knee back a little bit, return back to Anjaneyasana so hands can be down, hands can be up to the front thigh, or maybe this time reaching those arms up and back so you're kind of scooping up and back. Lifting from the heart, thinking of breathing from the heart. As you exhale, bring your hands down, and then coming back to high kneeling or low kneeling, and just take a couple breaths here. Maybe bringing one or both hands to the heart. See if you can feel your pulse. And then we'll come into the second side. So when you're ready, step your left foot forward. Prop up your hands, or you can bring your elbows or your hands up to that front thigh. Two more breaths. Bring your hands down to those blocks, curl those back toes under, step your foot in so it's on the 45-degree angle, square off your hips, keep a bend in your left knee, slowly start to rise up for Virabhadrasana 1. On your next inhale, reach those arms skyward. Hands are as wide as the torso, fingers and thumb together, strong straight arms. Keep squaring yourself off, left hip back, right hip forward. Nice lunge into that front left knee. And then on your next exhale, bring that right hand down towards the back of that right hip or thigh. Inhale to arc up and back. See how it feels on this side. Listen to your body for what range of motion is suitable for today. And then as you exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Inhale to lengthen out into that front left leg. Keep squaring yourself off. 2 straight legs, press down into pinky toe edge of that right foot. And then as you exhale, reach the chest into the thumbs, reach the crown of the head forward. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, bending into that front left knee, hands come down, float that back right knee down. Scoot that knee back a little bit, point those toes again. Returning to Anjaneyasana, to any version that's right for you. Maybe this time, bringing those arms up and back. And if you want to explore bringing the hands together now, don't think of fingertips coming together. No house hands, but like there's magnets to your inner wrists. You're drawing your inner wrists towards each other as you arc up and back, and maybe even lifting the gaze towards the hands. Keeping the back of the neck long and the heart lifting up and forward. On your next exhale, slowly bring the hands back through heart center and then coming out of that. So you can choose to come into a tabletop and rock side to side. Might feel nice for you to come into a child's pose if you like, or come back to your puppy dog. So just check in with your body for what you might want to explore. Maybe it's a couple things. One more breath wherever you are. Good, and then we're going to make our way all the way down onto our bellies to come into Sphinx pose. But first, let's just stack those palms, rest the forehead down onto the hands. Still breathing into that heart space while feeling the support of your mat. And then also breathing into the back of your heart, feeling that upper back, that back heart space rise up towards the sky as you inhale. And exhale, let it all go. One more breath. Good, and then on your inhale, bring yourself up to Sphinx. So keeping those elbows quite a bit more forward is going to be easier. Walking those elbows closer towards the hips will bring more of a back bend here. But we do want to make sure that those elbows are not wider than the shoulders, whichever version you're in. And again, a slight drop of the chin, so we're not doing anything crazy in the back of the neck. One more full deep breath here. Good. Slowly release. We'll bring those hands underneath the shoulders and then press yourself back up to tabletop. So from here, we're going to bring ourselves just for a moment into a forearm plank, and then we'll be lifting into our dolphin, which is downward facing dog, down on the forearms. So a nice way to check your forearm distance is to actually hold on with your fingertips to outer elbows. And then from there, sometimes people like to interlace their hands. You can have palms together, palms up, palms down. See what feels best for your shoulders. So set that up. Hold on to outer elbows and then start to walk those knees back. Hips are down low. Gazing in front of your fingertips, you can keep your knees down, that's great. If you're able to lift one or both knees, go for it. Just one more breath here, just a little bit of strength. And then from here, we're going to lift those hips up and back. So the goal is not getting the head down on the ground, and I'm also not keeping my shoulders over my elbows. I'm bringing my shoulders now back behind my elbows. And I'm keeping a nice bend in my knees just to ease up on my hamstrings a little bit, but you can keep your legs straight if you like. Draw the belly in. Bring your shoulders back towards your feet. The head is off of the floor. 2 more breaths. And then slowly bring your knees down. Nice job. High kneeling or sit back onto your heels. Rest the palms down by the sides or on the thighs. Nice sigh. And then just to get a little bit of strength in the feet, just to focus on a different area of the body and bring some balance here, we're going to curl our toes under as we did at the start of class. Start to walk your hands back towards the knees, lift the knees up, press those heels forward. And then roll those shoulders down and back, lift the heart up. See what that does to the action of the pose. If you need to hold on to a chair or something, that's okay. Bring the hands to heart center. Thumbs press to the heart, heart lifts to the thumbs. And then as best we can, as we exhale, we're going to use our core and leg strength to stand up with high heels. All the way up. Woo. Good, and then slowly lower those heels down. Shake out the feet. Bring the hands down by the sides. Roll those shoulders down and back, and take a moment in Tadasana. Nice. All right, so we're going to bring ourselves into Nataraja. Please use your strap. We're going to build the steps. So first round, we're going to use the strap, everybody. So you're going to bring your right foot into the strap, and then you're going to do what I call the backpack strap. So set yourself up here, backpack strap. And then bring your left hand to your hip. You can always use a wall or a chair if you need. And then we're just going to start by pressing that foot back into the strap. Okay, so I'm going from down here, reaching it on back. Lift the heart space forward. Step 1. Step 2, maybe you start to lift your arm up overhead. Not elbow out to the side, bring that elbow forward. Step 3, maybe you reach on with both hands. Elbow points forward and start to kick back into the strap. More. Lift the heart. And we're just going to stay here today. We haven't done a whole lot of opening for the lower back, but in time you would be able to maybe walk your hands closer to your, further down your strap. We're just keeping it at this today. And then slowly start to release. Okay, take a pause. We're going to repeat this side. You can do another round with the strap, or this time if you want to go without the strap, you're going to reach back, see if you can take hold of your foot. So you can start with the pinky toe edge of your foot, or you can spiral to the big toe edge for more shoulder opening. Inhaling to lift that left arm up, and then just like you did with the strap, kick your foot back into your hand. So notice I'm not focusing on bringing myself forward, right? I'm not coming forward here. Rather, I'm keeping my heart lifted, and I'm pressing my foot back into my hand. One more breath. And then slowly release. Good. Let's try the second side. Start with your strap. bring your right hand to your hip. Start by kicking that left foot away from you. Press back into that strap. Inhaling to lift that left arm up, maybe bring that right arm to meet it. Keep pressing back into the strap. And then on your next exhale, gently release. Take a pause. You can repeat that version, or you can go with reaching back with the hand. Inhale to lift. Exhale to press your foot back into your hand. Lift your chest up. Might be different on this side. Taking another breath or two if you can. And then on your next exhale, slowly release. We're going to bring our feet nice and wide onto the mat, and then coming down into our deep squat. Hips are down low. You can always use blocks or a bolster or a cushion to support your hips. And then again, try not to collapse here, but roll those shoulders down and back, reaching the heart towards the hands. You can also go for straight arms and reach that heart forward. And then we'll slowly sit down and reach behind you. Soles of the feet together. Inhale to lift the heart forward. And then exhale to draw forward with that heart space. So again, not rounding forward here, not nose towards the toes, but heart towards the toes. You can even come into a toe lock if you like, hooking your first and second finger onto your big toes. And then slowly coming back up. Great. So we're going to bring ourselves into a half virasana. So you might need a block or something to prop up your hip. We're going to send that right leg forward, flexing through the foot, and then reaching that left leg back. So bringing the knees together. The heel is to the outside of that left hip, and sometimes you need to kind of lift your hips up and lower back down to square off across the hips. So this might be as far as you go. This is great. If you want to go deeper, you might choose to lean back. And I'm a fan of using some blocks for some support here, and you can almost create even little armrests for yourself. Some of you might have the space to even lie all the way down onto your back, so you can take that if you like. And then we're slowly going to bring ourselves out of that, leading with the heart. So press your hands down to your blocks or the floor. Heart lifts up first, head is up last. Swing that left leg forward, shake out the legs, and then we'll come into the other side. So reaching that right leg back, the knees stay together, level out your hips as best you can. Some people like to move the calf out of the way. And then bring yourself back. Maybe even lie down. Elbows on the ground, or you can use your prop to support the back. See what it's like on this side. And listen to your body for when you've had enough of that. Sometimes it's even something you don't expect, like your foot cramps. So you can Take a couple more breaths there, if possible. Good, and then we'll slowly come on out of that and shake it out. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So hopefully you've got a pillow or bolster or block or something that you can use. Bring yourself down onto your back. Sometimes you need to lift your hips up depending on how big your prop is. And then we're going to bring that prop underneath the sacrum. So the sacrum is not the archy part of the back, it's lower. So think more like top of your glutes. So if you've got a block, you can use that block on any height. Or just get a cushion or towel underneath your hips just to bring a little elevation here. Gently bringing the chest towards the chin. And of course, you're welcome to stay for longer if you like. Otherwise, if you're ready to come out of this, again, pressing into your feet, lift the hips, slowly remove that block. And we're going to rest one or both hands onto the heart. So you can do this either lying flat down on your back, the legs can be bent or straight. You can also do this seated. So we just come into a little gentle, short mantra meditation. So one or both hands to the heart, flat back, no props underneath the hips, or coming into seated. And so the chant or the mantra that we're going to do is Sat Nam. Sat Nam. And Sat Nam in Sanskrit roughly translates to I am, or I am that. So it's really, it's connecting to you. So you can do this silently, or you can say it out loud, and we're going to do it 11 times. So nice full deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Take an inhale. And then chanting at your pace. Sat Nam, 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 Sat Nam. Last one. Sat Nam. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to those knees. Inhale through the nose. And here you are in your heart space after going through your practice. And thank you so deeply for sharing that practice and sharing a piece of your heart with me. It means a lot to me, and I bow so deeply to you. You might choose to take this time to maybe go back and chant Sat Nam some more in meditation, or maybe you're ready to come into your Shavasana now. So you can be seated, you can bring yourself to lying down, just checking in with your body with what it needs. And I invite you to stay with that for as long as it speaks to you today. And if you'd like to receive a little bit of distance, Reiki, you can bring your hands to your belly. And if your hands are on your belly, know that I'm sending you distance Reiki healing. And thank you so deeply for joining me in practice. Deep love. Namaste.